Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today we're taking a break between the Marvel Cinematic Universe and other Marvel related movies. However, it's not as big of a break as you think because the Kingsman series is based off of, you guessed it, a Marvel comic. So we're really not taking a break. We're doing Kingsman because the new one comes out later this year, so I want to make sure that I am prepared by watching the other two. I have seen the first one already before I rewatched it for the channel, and I liked it a lot, but I didn't remember how much I liked it, which is to say, a lot. So today we're going to be talking about Kingsman, the Secret Service. Kingsman, the Secret Service was released in 2014. It was written by Jane Goldman and Matthew Vaughn and directed by Matthew Vaughn. Oh boy, this is a fun movie. No spoilers, of course, but the general idea is that there's a secret service in the UK that is like a weird FBI spy service thing. And one of their people dies, so they are basically doing this recruitment process where they have a bunch of trainees come in, they train them, and whoever basically lasts throughout all the training sessions gets to become a Kingsman and gets to be one of those secret spies. But, of course, there's this huge plan by Samuel L. Jackson that he's basically trying to control the entire world and killing itself to solve the population issue. So it's basically Thanos, but if he were Samuel L. Jackson, which I'm okay with. It's great. There are so many good things about this film. I'm going to try to keep it short. Where do I start? I think I'm going to start with the performances. The performances are fantastic. We have Colin Firth, who plays Harry. Oh my goodness, Colin Firth is so good. I love him so much. I never knew how much I liked him until I watched this film, and I was like, wait a second. This guy's absolutely brilliant. He just has this absolutely awesome FBI spy vibe to him, and he's quietly funny. It's absolutely brilliant. Which then brings me to Taryn Egerton, who plays Eggsy, who is the opposite, where he has no spy quality to him in the beginning of the film, but then he's loudly funny. It's absolutely hilarious. He's the funniest freaking person in the whole world. I've only ever seen him in Rocket Man, so to see him in this was completely different. I think he was better here than in Rocket Man. I think he's absolutely brilliant here. He's freaking hilarious. And then by the end, he turns into the super spy, and it's super cool. So it's of course you're getting a spy movie. So there's a lot of stuff that goes along into being a spy. But what I think is really cool about this film that is different than most other spy films is that it is mainly a training session kind of movie, which I love, training things, which is probably why I like Spider-Man so much, is because he's young and they're training him to be a superhero instead of him just being a superhero. With Iron Man, it's an origin story, but, he's an adult. He doesn't have to do a whole lot of the learning process, whereas in school, with Homecoming, you're learning that he's also not quite used to his powers yet. That's kind of how Kingsman is with Eggsy, is that, he's funny and obviously has some skills, but is he good enough to be a spy? I don't know. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And of course, the villain being Samuel L. Jackson, who plays Valentine. I mean, he's great. He has a lisp in this one. It's so freaking funny. He's great. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson's always great, but this one just feels like raw Samuel L. Jackson. It's freaking hilarious. I can't believe they got him to do this film. This is a risk for him. But it is a Marvel comic, but it was not, mentioned in the beginning of the film. So I don't think it is a Marvel-produced movie. I think that whoever did this movie, I forget who it was. I can't remember. They must have, they must have, sole rights for it. I'm not sure. But very, very good. I love this movie so much. And the action sequences are great. So fun fact, if you're watching the film and you're wondering why it looks so cool, I can talk a little bit about it. Some of this knowledge comes from the YouTube channel Corridor Crew. Definitely subscribe to them if you're not. They're freaking great. This is just a shameless plug. They don't know who I am. But, I watch all their episodes. It's great. it's a lot of VFX breakdown and stunt breakdowns, and they're hilarious too. It's a great, great time. So definitely subscribe to them. Little plug. But essentially, the reason why it looks so cool is, one, they frame it centrally the entire fight. I'm going to talk about the church fight in general. There's this huge scene in a church where a bunch of people are killing each other. I'm not going to tell you more about the actual plot, because that's spoilery, but that is the general idea of this scene. And what I mean by it is centrally located, I mean that the camera is moving with whatever they want the focus to be on. So the focus is on, say, Harry. We're going to watch Harry as he moves instead of the camera being still. So the audience does not have to move their eyes the entire time. They can watch center screen and get everything, and it's absolutely brilliant. Another thing that they do here that like a lot of people have done is I can't tell if they up the frame rate or if they, lower the frame rate, or if they just cut some of the frames out. I'm betting they probably cut some of the frames out to make it look jumpier, but it just has this like kind of like weird cutty feel to it, and it's really cool because it feels like they're going super fast, and it's awesome. I can't decide whether or not they lower the frame rate or if they cut. They're very similar, but basically what happens is if you lower the frame rate, everything looks a lot faster because you're getting less information. So in between each picture, there's more of a gap. So your picture, it's going to look different each time, which is how a video camera works. But if you're cutting frames, that means that I'll be here, I move this way, but you don't get this part. So it's very similar if you just like lower the frame rate. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't make much of a difference depending on which one they do. But I think that if I had to guess, they probably just lowered the frame rate. But absolutely brilliant. I think that the choreography for this is absolutely amazing. One of the best fighting movies I've ever seen. This movie is top tier in terms of its fighting, and it's so funny, and the villain is great. One minor setback. There's like no reason for the villain to be villainous. There's really no reason. And like, usually, as you know, I care about that a lot. But in this movie, I don't care. It's just so funny that I don't care that it doesn't have a reason to exist. I don't care, which is so strange for me. I just sat down on my bed and watched an absolutely brilliantly hilarious movie, and it has your attention the entire time. And it's a series, so there's more to come. We do have a sequel, which I'm going to release tomorrow for my review, and then there is a prequel coming out, a standalone prequel called The Kingsman that comes out later this year. And then they are having a third one, I don't remember what it's called, it's like Blood something, which has these actors in it still. And then there's a separate movie called Statesman coming out, so that'll be fun. But overall, this is like an absolute joy to watch. Like, if you haven't seen this yet, please do yourself a favor and watch it. I rented it on YouTube, probably. No, Redbox. I rented it on Redbox. But I'm going to be getting it on Blu-ray soon because I want to rewatch it all the time. It is absolutely brilliant, and I'm going to go ahead and give Kingsman: The Secret Service an A+. I haven't given an A+ in a very long time. I love this movie so much. It unlocked this secret in me that just like loves these kind of movies. Like, I loved it so much. I had so much fun, and I absolutely will be watching this again, and you definitely should check it out if you haven't. I mean, it is absolutely brilliant. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Starting next week, we are going to be doing Marvel Legacy films, which is basically like old movies that are Marvel related but not connected to each other. So I'll be starting with Howard the Duck, which I have on Blu-ray, and then I've got Captain America, the first one from like 1990, which I also got on Blu-ray. And I'll be doing X-Men, and I'll be doing Deadpool, and I'll be doing Fantastic Four. So if you like any of those things, definitely subscribe, and we're going to keep Marvel Wednesday going until there are literally no other movies that I can do for Marvel, which unfortunately will happen probably about February next year, so we'll have to figure out what to do after that. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Definitely consider subscribing, and as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.